What an honor for me to be here and to be back with our CARDP family, which we've sort of been distanced from, but to see friends from across Canada today has been so heartwarming. And let me just say this, and no one's paying me to say this. Being a member of CARDP, who here is a guest and has never been to a CARDP meeting before? Show of hands, really high, 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 high. Let me just say this, and I said it when we moved here 14 years ago. The best dentists in Canada, and some from the States, from South Carolina, where's my friend, are in CARDP. They're in organized dentistry and groups and organizations. They're in study clubs, and they're actively involved in dentistry, and I have never met a dentist who I would let work on my mouth, hello Mark Ripley, that is not a member of a good dental organization. And CARDP, the best dentists in the country are here. I won't say anything else. Let me talk about why I'm here. I am here to shine some light on something that I see every day. Dentistry is a people profession. Who's surprised that it is? Are you? Did you know it was going to be about people when you went to dental school? Did you know that every aspect of your dental life was going to revolve around people? That not only do you have to be good with the patients you serve and put your knees close to their head and give them a needle, you have to work with other dentists. You have to work with staff. And here's the thing. In over 30 years of dentistry, the number one thing I hear from dentists is the hardest part about being a dentist is managing the dental practice and their staff. Would you agree? Show of hands, who agrees with me that the hardest part of being a dentist is managing the staff? Yeah. The problem with that is that we make a lot of decisions in dentistry because it's hard to manage staff. So I want to give you a little gift today. And it's something I discovered a couple of years ago. I think I understood it, and you will too. This isn't rocket science. You've heard this before. But what I didn't get is that it was a tool that I could use that allowed me to see things that I didn't see before. And I saw a lot. But I use it now in every interaction that I have in our dental world, in our dental practice, in our dental study club. But I'm telling you this, the best place that I use what I'm going to share with you is at home with my family and my husband, more importantly with my Gen Z 18 and 21-year-old, and I use it with my parents, and I use it with my mother-in-law. So hopefully you'll be able to do some of this too. Here's what I want to suggest to you. I want to suggest something I like to call a generational lens. And what a gen lens is to me is it's a pair of glasses that you put on, just like your loupes and lights and magnification, and you all love that. We don't know how that's going to work out 15 years from now, just saying, watch that. Lens loupes, here you put it on, and the gen lens is a filter. It's a filter system. And the first filter is, who am I talking to and where are they from? What part of the world are they from? What was happening in the world when they were raised? Who raised them? What was the politics at the time when they were being formed and coming into the world? What was the economy doing? Or the cultural influences? And this lens with these filters on top begins the conversation of starting to see people in a whole new way. In fact, you can't not see them in a whole new way because it will change what you see. So I call it the gen lens for short because it bridges the gap. And a gen lens, it just makes you more aware, right? It doesn't change anything, but it changes how you start to see other. And when we start to change how we see other, it changes our perspective. Because when I see more of you, and when I ask questions if I don't fully understand you, I have more awareness, and awareness is paramount, and awareness is information. Just like diagnostic tools in dentistry are essential. You can't make decisions without your diagnostic tools. And the gen lens with its filters is a way of diagnosing other. But here's the superpower. I'm putting this in for Dr. Rhoda because he's a Star Trek fan. 50-year anniversary was yesterday. It's a superpower lens because it, in reverse, allows you to see yourself. It allows me to go, well, where am I from? Well, I was raised out west. You know, what was going on when I was raised in the 60s? Well, wait a minute. My mother was pregnant when JFK was assassinated. Birth control was just coming out. Women who had marriages had to leave their jobs because you couldn't be married and have a career. Using the Gen lens, looking at yourself and seeing your filters, what was going on when you graduated from dental school? Who were you raised by? What was happening in the economy when you emerged out of dental school? Were you in 1982 when the national energy crisis happened and suddenly there was no money? Or were you in 1970? When was the good time to graduate in the 70s when you walked out and you said, yo, I'll just put up my shingle and I got lots of patients? And it was maybe a little bit easier. The Gen lens is a superpower for seeing other, but it's as important so I can see myself. Because if I can locate me, then I can locate you eventually. And when I can locate you, I can bridge any gap of any age, any stage, doesn't matter, and any culture. And that's really important. As I wave to some of our wonderful new grads who've joined our study club who are from all over the world. This is the time to have a generational lens working for you. So, because I'm an actress and because you haven't seen a Bill and Ted Excellent Adventure slide yet, and I'm like, oh my God, should I put it in there? But I'm gonna put it in there because in the next 12 minutes, we're gonna go back in time and I'm gonna take you through a quick superficial view of the generations at play. You're all a part of them. You wanna know more about it, send me an email. I'll send you my data and research and you can drill down on this, so to speak, all right? But Bill and Ted are gonna take us back because we're gonna go back to 1945. No show of hands, but some of you were born prior to 1945. Thank you, and yeah, great. And we would call you traditionalists, matures. You are the forefathers and foremothers of a profession, and if we're lucky enough to have you in the room, then every new grad should make sure you shake somebody's hand who's born prior to 1945. Because if you want to know everything about the trajectory of dentistry, it's in them. And that's the value of understanding the power of a generation. This generation was steeped in loyalty and sacrifice. So your parents and your aunts, or your uncles rather, everybody was tinged by some aspect of war and some aspect of understanding the Great Depression and going without and keeping a twist tie and a piece of metal because you never knew when you weren't going to have food and you never knew where your next meal was going to come from. That's the reality of that time. Obviously, valuing privacy is important, and they are private, so don't talk, you all know that. You don't talk about treatment plans in front of, your young staff out front because they don't want to talk about their dentures or their overdentures or any of that in front of other people. They value privacy, and they love face-to-face, eye-level communication. So wherever they're sitting and wherever they are, rise up or get down because they want to look you in the eye and see if they can trust you. Because it's all about trust, right? And you can absolutely judge someone's character, can't you? I know, because you judged mine and I judged yours. It's all good. I'm going to go visit him in South Carolina. So baby boomers, who's my boomers? Yeah, big cohort. Don't have enough time because the first 10 years of boomers are very different than the second half. So I'm going to put you all together, but you are remarkably different. The first half of baby boomers are optimists. They came into post-war prosperity. So if you were born 1946 to 1946 to 1954, you came into good times. Things were growing. The economy was good. Houses, white picket fences. Infrastructure had to grow because there were so many of you, which is why we have so many problems now because there's so few of us. And you had a little bit of time on your hands because suddenly you said, hey, wait a minute, you know what? We got to question authority, and you did. You became the protesters, and you stood up for, well, not so much in Canada, but it was an important issue to resolve, civil rights, and it got resolved. Women's rights moved forward for baby boomers. The Canada Student Loan Act got passed, which meant not just the rich kids could go to school anymore. It meant access to education and access to money to go to school. Really important game changers, changed dentistry. The FLQ crisis for us Canadians was a big deal. The War Measures Act by Pierre Elliott Trudeau, and you got some good music out of all that. You also came into a time where there was free love and Woodstock and all that fun stuff, which is really nice, not so nice for who's coming. Important to have status and titles. If you were a doctor, you should be called doctor. You love money, you still love money. In 2008, took a big bite out for many of you, which is why you're still practicing. Not saying that's part of what's gone on for a lot of us. Very competitive and money-driven, but the currency of gratitude for boomers works. So if you can't pay them well and they're working for you as staff, if you can thank them well, that means a lot to a boomer. Generation X, who are my Xers? Oh, good, a couple. Okay, a little higher. There's just a few of you. Well, of course, there's a few of you because there was birth control. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. And what happens? You have a big booming population. You give them birth control. You have fewer babies. We say this generation's entitled. Do you remember everybody in the 80s and 90s going, oh, they're so entitled. You're so entitled. Well, you know, you kind of were entitled. It would have been nice if you had a mom and dad and one of them who stayed home, which you didn't get. I didn't get that. Because when there was birth control and then women got their educations and had their careers, there were 2 working parents. So us little Xers, we were raised by Sesame Street, which is why I'm S-U-Z-A-N-N-E, because I didn't know that that was American. It's S-U-Z-A-N-N-E. I still think I'm born on Sesame Street. This group was left home alone. So if you were, and you'll know it because you were raised by the Partridge Family like I was, and you watched shows like Brady Bunch, because there was nobody home, because you had 2 working parents, very exhausted, came home, opened up your can of ravioli, watched TV, mom came home, exhausted, cooked dinner, tried to keep some traditional values going. Gen Xers, we are a tough bunch. And in all the research I've done, Gen X is the hardest group of people to manage. And here's why. Because they don't want you looking over their shoulder, because nobody ever did, and they want to know what's in it for them. Because really, this is the generation that got a very little amount of parenting. So they're a little bit selfish in saying, and I say this, if it's a Gen Xer, just tell them what's in it for them. Here's what's in it for you. Start with that. Don't tell them, oh, it's good for the practice, it's good for the patient. They don't care. Just say, you know, what's in it for you is your production's going to go up. That's all an Xer needs to hear. This brings me to Gen Y. Where's my millennials? Millennials. Yay! Hi! So they're getting the conversation going because there's more of them than Xers. So boomers, you got spoiled. No one came behind you taking away what you had. But the millennials are a bigger cohort. They're in their power, right? They're in their mid-20s to early 30s, but they're way smarter than you, right? And what I mean by that is they are not willing to sacrifice family and their health like their burnt-out boomer parents did because they value health and lifestyle, and they're smarter. They have technology, so they do stuff faster. They refer out stuff they're not good at, right? They're the ones getting financial planners and experts to do their stuff because they know they're not good at it. So if they can't Google it, and they can't do it themselves, they're smart enough to get experts. And this group, I love them, they're super cool. Make friends with them because they should be in your dental office because they'll modernize you, they'll keep you up to date with technology, and they want to know what you know. So if you're a mature or an early boomer and you care about the next generation of dentists, partner up with those millennials. They have access to every piece of information on the planet, because you're probably Googling my name right now. Who's already Googled me on something? Yeah. Yo, what did you, like, because like I'm not on Instagram or whatever. Yes, I am, but my kids set that up. The millennials will mentor them. They'll suck up all the stuff you know, partner with them, get them involved, sell your practice to them, do something with them. They are the future, and they are bright. And everyone older than you guys and gals, they know a lot about dentistry. They'll save you a lot of mistakes you're going to make with implants because they've seen them come and go and come back again. That's bridging the gap. Know that they know a lot more than you do, and you're young and keen, but you put those all together, and you're going to be a great. It'll shave off years of mistakes you'll make in dentistry. So let me go back for 1 second because, yeah, this is your world, right? Right? You're in a Google digitized world. So maybe true, maybe not true for this millennials, but they are the most loved children ever, ever. Because they were raised by boomer parents who didn't like what we did with Gen X and left them home alone. And you had structured playtime, you had play dates. You came home at 3 o'clock and at 3:30 you went to your Taekwondo thing. And you came at 3:45, your mom had you in the car with your, laughing, right? Had you in the car for your snack to go to soccer. And then after soccer you had your Kumon math thing, right? To learn your math and your reading. We never structured kids before, millennials. And now these kids know how to run on a schedule. They were also talked to like adults. And when people say to me, oh, I don't know what to do with millennials, here's what you do. You parent them. So loco parentes. And I don't mean talk down to them parenting. I mean ask them, would you like to work a Monday or a Thursday? Give them options like peas or carrots. Small incremental rewards because they're the gaming culture. They learned everything on, hey, if I get to this level, I get to the next level. And if I get my first thing here, I get to this thing. If I do my undergrad, I get into dentistry. So small incremental rewards, negotiate with them, give them what they want. I'll talk to any millennial after wants to talk to me. Because you want to partner and work with them. They are going to revolutionize the dental office. And they love constant daily feedback. They want to know how they're doing, especially if they're your staff. They love to know how they're doing. Gen Z, anybody 21 and under yet? Probably not here, so we can talk about them. So Gen Z are your grandchildren. Who has grandchildren who are this age? Good, you're gonna love this one. Who has children of this age? Who's children? Yeah. Gen Z is receptionists. They're your emerging hygienists, so this is your staff. Gen Z have a Twitter handle embedded on their umbilical cord. They are already digitized. Someone told me, 4-year-old goes into a restaurant and asks for the Wi-Fi password. Really? At Smitty's. What's really important, I want you to take away with this, with Gen Z, or any of these generations, is they are your dream of the future. They are our traditionalists and our matures. They are, I'm looking at you, Dr. Schaffner. Not you, Dr. Oda, because I know Dr. Schaffner's older than you. They are your vision and dream of what you hoped would come in the future. They care about the environment. They care about family time. In fact, we're thinking this generation wants to have organic chicken and know where their vegetables are raised, and they don't want radiation on their soil because they're your dream of how the world should be. You want to bridge a gap because that's what you were hoping would happen on this time and planet. This group are your receptionists, as I said, and you know, everybody, well, okay, yeah, right, just show them a cat video. So this is a visual age. They don't read manuals, they don't text, they send videos and pictures. So if you want to grab their attention and train them, just send them a link to a video because they are visual learners. To them and millennials, the world is flat because the world is flat. And within 1 second, we could send this anywhere in the world and somebody would get it. That is not the world that most of us in this room were born into. And that's a game changer. That's a game changer, because now you can email your radiograph or your CT scan, which is super cool, right? Love that. The other thing, Gen Z talks in emojicons, and so do their parents who talk to them. Okay, what parent in here sends those little things to their kids? Oh my God, yeah, thank you. Actually, I shouldn't say parent, because grandparents are doing it too. So we're communicating in emotion now. We're communicating in emotion. So let me wrap it up by saying this. The generational lens is a virtual set of glasses. It's free for the taking. Take what you already know about people, and then when you're with whoever you're with, just start to put the filters on. Where are they from? What was going on in the world while they were being raised? What were the cultural influences that influenced them? What was the economy doing? What shapes and shifts this person who's sitting in front of me? Reflect the lenses back on yourself and do the same thing for you, because you might find that incredibly revealing. I certainly found out a lot more about myself than I knew. Open up your awareness. Maybe it'll change your perspective. But ultimately, I hope that for each one of you, it bridges any and all gaps that you have so that your business and your profession and families can thrive. Thank you very much.